Hey everybody, welcome to my Looney bin. This is where we buy, sell, and trade just about anything that might make us a few bucks. So you might enjoy some of these items, and if you're a reseller, you definitely want to keep your eye out for some of these things because they'll make you some good bread and butter money. And there's a couple bolos in here as well. Something that you might want to be on the lookout for to make you that big profit margin. Alright, well we're going to get right to it. Alright, first up we got this nice you can see that New York Yankees hat. Yankees are always good. Now this is a fitted, it's not a snapback, but still it's gonna sell, right? New York Yankees. Now I will tell you this will be one little piece of information that I give you. The buyer kind of said, hey, I never received this. Now I don't know, a lot of people think it's always a scam, and it may not have been. I just wrote it back and said, look, it says it was delivered, and it says it was delivered into a parcel locker. So I mean, this thing was definitely delivered, and they definitely knew where they put it. That is the last I heard of it, but sometimes you got to stand up for the fact that it's delivered, and if it says it's delivered, eBay's going to help you out as much as possible. You got a good chance for them to be on your side. But that was a beautiful hat. We sold that thing for $17.50, buyers all in minus tax. Remember, these prices are minus just tax. Tax is the only thing that I've removed from these. But remember, eBay fees are on the taxed value. So eBay taxed the number higher than $17.50, and they tax whatever they charge fees on whatever that tax value was, which was probably going to be around 18 bucks. So we ended up making $7.50 on that. I paid $3 on this one because I just paid up for these hats because I knew they would be easy to sell and quick to sell, and it probably did. It sold within a month. I got a group of records. They came on this table that I bought. I bought like an auction table, and this was on there. No, I don't think I spent anything on that table, maybe $5, and I've already recouped my money off that table for other things. And again, this sold within a month. It just happened to be an interesting record, and this one even had you could see that scratch right there, but the buyer was not skirt, and he went ahead and bought it. Sold for $39. He was all in for $39.19, and we made $29.84. But this kind of is going to go back to my last video. So if you haven't seen my last video, but on this one I went ahead and put in another 25 cents because I had to buy record boxes to ship these in, and that's an expense that you need to be taking into consideration when you're shipping these items. If you're not just getting free Amazon boxes from the friends around you, and you're paying for these boxes, you need to add that into the cost of goods. So the cost of goods on this one was a little bit more expensive because I did have to buy special record boxes, or I chose to. I didn't have to. You probably just get a big refrigerator box and you just cut two pieces out and then you tape them together around the edge. So, but I chose to be a little bit more. I have a bunch of records that I'm trying to sell, or I have some, so having a few extra boxes around wasn't a big deal. But that was a pretty cool little sale there. All right, especially for $30, man, that was a good one. I'll take it all day. And again, as most of you know, I do sell these older books. This book was written in France or Latin or something. I don't know. I think it was French. It was a French book. I accepted $9. I know good and well this book's worth more than $9. I assume probably a reseller bought it from me, but he knows how to reach, and he is willing to spend the extra time to reach the crowd that will pay more for this. I'm okay for this. I get these books for like 10 cents a piece, so I'm just pushing them through. I have probably hundreds with the ability to get more, so it doesn't bother me to let some of these go a little cheaper, especially as long as they're not worth $1 million. I don't mind selling them for $10. As you can see, we ended up with $8.61 out of that one, so I'm totally good with that. This is another lot of when I bought that lot of this is a mold where people can build jewelry, about that jewelry set. So if you haven't seen a couple of my last videos, huge bolo out of one of those. I made $450 on a polishing machine, which was worth probably way more, but again, it was too big to ship. And I sold a vacuum for like $200. So these are just aluminum square molds that they're not very big at all, but they go in a machine that would press them and make, you could make, you know, with the wax mold so that you could then pour your jewelry into it. And for pretty cheap, $825, and that thing was basically already paid for, because that's not what I bought that auction lot for. Another book, let me get that into view for you. Like I said, I got these books all day for $10. All day for $10. We made another $8 out of that one. Pretty cool, first edition, 1881. Yeah, if you guys like books, you got to stay tuned. I have a book for sale right now that when that thing sells, it's from 1797. Do you realize that book is almost as old as America? Is that not crazy to think about? It's a book on the Revolutionary War. I just was thinking about that when I was listening to that thing. I mean, this book is as old as our country. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, on to the next thing here. These were some gloves. Went ahead and paid up for them because there were comps on these hockey gloves that suggested that they would sell for closer to $75. But I think I just sold them right at the wrong time, you know, right before hockey season started, and I listed them. Maybe I should have held on to them and waited, but I'm not that type of reseller. I just get things in and I get them out, and something like this I really would rather have in the hands of someone who wants it. You know, I used to love hockey, but I do not collect things any longer. So these were nothing to me. I only paid $20 for them, and we ended up making $22.22. So I'll take that all day. I paid 20, made 20. 100% when you're spending $20 is pretty good. Oop, went the wrong way. These are some interesting Christmas ornaments. It was just a small box. I mean, this thing, it was the size of a pack of cigarettes. And by the time this thing was all over, I made $6.36. Easy, two pictures, easy to list, easy to ship. I wrapped it up in a couple pieces of bubble wrap and put it in a poly mailer. That thing was out the door, and we made $6. So I didn't think it would sell for $5, but it sold for $5. Okay, this next again, this is part of that. This is part of the, that jewelry set, and this is just a jewelry cleaning basket that you can adjust. You can cut these little legs right there off, and adjust the size. But if you had a big jewelry cleaner, it has a handle on it as well, so you can dip it in and pick it up. If maybe I was thinking more of like a parts cleaner for like automobile. You can buy a big bucket, a 1 gallon bucket of stuff, and you could just dip that in there and pull it right back up. It'd be great for that, but it's hard to market that in a certain way. But there we go. We got the ultra basket, and that they also bought a mold. They bought two things. This was a bigger mold. It was pretty thick and it weighed a lot, which I'm kind of glad he bought both of them. So he bought both of these items and was able to ship them together and kind of made a little bit on that. So we sold the mold and the basket for $23.53, and we ended up profiting $10. So $5 on each item. Another cool little book here. Got like that. I just thought this one was pretty interesting. 1890 by Canoe and Dog Train. Obviously some sort of history book of how they explored the Americas, and we ended up making $16.45. Again, all day, every day on these books. Good stuff. Antique books are a good thing to keep your eye out for. And another thing you can do if you happen to pick some up, if you get them for a great price, that 10-cent mark, you can bundle a couple of them up and put some string on them and just sell them as decoration. So as long as they're not in horrible condition, and you can see, go ahead and look at the comps for antique book decorations and stuff like that. you can always get your money back, and it ships media mail. Books ship media mail, so you don't have to worry about the shipping. They're pretty cheap. You just got to have a box. I always protect the edges of all the things that I send, so I cut a piece of cardboard. I can kind of show you that one day if somebody's that interested in it, but always protect the corners of your book if you're shipping them in a poly mail. Otherwise, ship them in a box. This scarf I got at it's a Fedora Callum. I didn't know that, but a scarf with a tag in it, I spent enough time to look it up, and it was. I got it for $1. I accepted the best offer on that for $15.50, and the buyer was all in for $24.75. So making $15 on a $1 item all day, every day. So that's good. Keep your eye out for scarves as it's getting colder. I mean, you probably should have already had your eyes out. That was cool, like Aztecish type of print, as you can see. Trying to find these. I'm a guy, so to me this is just a scarf, but putting the print on there is always a good thing. Look how big that thing was, like 6 foot long. So it wasn't a small scarf, but try to get the best keywords you can. I mean, even as a guy, you can look at things and know that they're worth some money. You just gotta be able to get it to the person that wants it. And another Christmas ornament that it came in a lot of things that I didn't intend to want or need, but there it is. Now, when I was storing this, I actually ripped that plastic piece behind it, which actually it was already ripped. So just make sure you take pictures of that kind of stuff and make sure the customer knows. Maybe it knows, I just forgot about it. But again, all these things on everything you see took less than a month, except for the hockey gloves. Probably took 2 months to sell. So these are all quick flips. I'm a quick flipper, guys. I'm a quick flipper. So everything's less than a month. Sometimes the books might be longer, but again, for those antique books, you may have to wait a while. These books, less than 3 months on all of the books, but all the pieces and parts of things are less than a month. All right, here we go. This was a nice one. This was on a table, and you kind of push some stuff together. Again, if you haven't seen these tables go up for auction, you got to go watch my man Lucky 7 Auctions. And there was some electronic pieces. So as soon as you see the name Walkman, you got to get together. So I got this little box together, and I kind of just threw that in there. This thing worked, and I grew up around this time. Did I take a picture of right here? This right here is actually what played in these. I'd never seen these before. It's like a little tape, and it was definitely a niche item that somebody had to want. And oddly enough, the person that bought this really didn't know what it was capable of doing. They bought it and said, "Oh, it doesn't record. I thought this was a recorder." I'm like, I can't believe you bought this thing and didn't know what it was. You won this thing and you didn't know what it was. I did not set this up for bidding. I just put it in there, and I dropped the price a couple times. I had it all the way to $79, and I just dropped it a couple times. So this probably did take 3 weeks to sell, but it was only because I was trying to get the most for it. But I played it, worked great, and I took a best offer on this actually, because I had it for $69.99, and that's not what it sold for. The buyer was all in for $60.65, and we ended up making $40.98. Promoted these items, so the scarf I promoted, this I promoted. I'm not 100% promotion works. I had 3 of the exact same items. I listed both of them. Slightly different, because sometimes eBay will not let you list 2 items, but I promoted one, didn't promote the other. The non-promoted one had more views than the promoted one, so that would tell me that promoting is not working. So I don't know if it works. I have no idea. I guess if somebody's searching something, at least it pops up on their page, whether they choose to click on it or not. I don't know. But I still promote things. I promote everything that I list as a buy it now gets promoted. The auctions, I do not promote my auctions. I let them run through the 3-week cycle, whether I put it on a 5-day or a 7-day auction. I let it run through the 3-week cycle, and then I move it over to a buy it now. Things that I don't know the price of, I usually try to let run through the auction, or just things that I think like a collector or something like that. I let those run through an auction. Very rarely, well, I shouldn't say that. I let a lot of stuff run through auction, and then I put it as buy it now. I'll even let clothes and stuff like that, where you know, hey, this is worth $7.50. There ain't no reason to put it on auction, but I put them on auction anyway, and let them run through just to kind of keep them going. You just never know. And then I put it to a buy it now, and usually almost all my buy it nows, unless it is so unique. So if I have a golf club that's a 9-iron, Dunlop 9-iron, I'm not promoting that, because if someone's searching for it, they're searching for that specific 9-iron. They're not just cruising eBay for 9-irons. They're cruising eBay for the Dunlop number 2 9-iron stiff shaft. So when they type that in, they're going to get my club. My club's going to be up there. So I'm not promoting something that specific. But almost everything is promoted. All right, let's break it down. Break it down. We'll leave the bolo up for the break it down. So for the breakdown, the buyers were all in for $321.46. That was for all 12 items. So if we divide that by 12, we get $26.79 an item. So that was our average sales. eBay charges $48.06 in fees. That's about $4 an item. And that is about 15% of that $26. But you got to remember, eBay is charging fees on that tax value. So I'm not giving you one level. There's another level up that includes all the taxes that people pay. And we end up getting that 12%, 12.55, or in my case 14.55 of that entire value. So for me it ends up 14.99% of the sold value. So you got to think, when you see that far left value, it's hard to see what 12.55% is of what you're making. 12.55% of what you're making is more like 15% of what you're actually making. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And maybe one time, if you really care, I can break it down from the big far right number all the way to what you actually see in your pocket. But this is just the fees that eBay's charging. Realistically, they're charging 14.9% of what my sold value is. But I do sell books. There were several books in there, and some of them went for some decent money. So that value on sold books is higher than 12.55. I'm thinking about opening a store to kind of reduce my percentage, but maybe on the next video I'll talk about when you should open a store and when it becomes beneficial to you. Alright, my shipping fees, it cost me $65.99 to ship all this stuff. That was about $5.50 to ship it all per item, which is a little bit higher than normal, but I did have some bigger items. I had the hockey gloves, and those one of those molds went for priority shipping. I always try to keep with first class shipping, and as you saw, almost actually every single one but 2 of those were first class shipping. But first class shipping has also gone up. So this is when you see these first class shippings, it was during the escalated time, or is during the escalated time of the Christmas season. And that cost about $5.50 an item, which is definitely high for me. And the cost of goods was $26.20, which is only about $2.18 per item. That's great. If you can pick up stuff for $2.18 an item, you are going to be a great thrifter. Much of my stuff comes from an auction, so some of this stuff is maybe more time intensive. So if you really, I have to go get all this stuff. It's just a unique process, but I love the auction. I would go there if I didn't buy a thing and resell. So doesn't bother me at all. Plus, they got great food at this auction. All right, what I made was $180, $179.47 off of these 12 items. That breaks down to $14.96, which is not bad at all. $15 an item. If I could profit $15 an item, you could be a really good reseller, right? You could be a great reseller. So that was a great number this time. We made 55% of what the buyers paid without tax. So $14.96 is 55% of that $26.79. So when you look at your number on eBay, this is what I'm trying to get to. When you look at your number on eBay and it gives you that 90-day total, you're looking at, you're like, well, I wonder how much of that I'm really keeping. So if you're not a huge numbers person, you're only keeping about half of it. All the rest is going to eBay fees, shipping, and your cost of goods, maybe more. So 50%. So when you're looking at somebody's 90-day total, they're keeping about 50% of that. So, but here's what the number that I like. We only paid $2.18 for an item. We made $14.96 per item. That's almost a 700% return on investment. ROI. So I'll take it every day. And these 12 items, got to think a lot of them came from an auction, although I had to sit through the auction, the amount of work and stuff. You know, I don't have 12 hours into this, so I'm at least making probably maybe 6 hours, maybe less. So at least $30 an hour, $32 an hour for being your own boss ain't too bad. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You got to check out my other videos. You got to check out the anthill castings. You got to check out the reviews, and of course the resale videos. I'll be coming at you more. We're going to have some anthill casting videos coming up. I'm actually going to go out there this weekend, and I got to get some anthills ready for Christmas. So again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and if you stay tuned this long, and I'm going to mention it at the next one, I just started a Facebook group called eBay What Sold. So there's not going to be very many members in there, but I'm a member of several of these groups, and look, they're just YouTube promotion sites for one person. I wanted to make a site that could be a community. No, I don't want to spam it with YouTube videos and everybody just trying to promote their YouTube stuff, but I want to give everybody the opportunity to do that, right? We all need the opportunity. And then that we can post some what sold pictures and just kind of keep the community involved in what to keep their eye out for. So I want it to be a place where we can share our information. If it is YouTube, then so be it. If it is Instagram, then so be it. We just gotta really work together as a community to control the spam of just one person just kind of, blowing out their YouTube. But that's why I created it, because I'm tired of some of these other places. People created it and it's their own personal promotion platform is really all it is, and you're restricted really from learning and growing your business. Let's all grow our business together. There's room for more than one at the top. Thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.